Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The US Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden has picked Senator Kamala Harris as his choice for vice president. It makes her the first black woman to compete on a major party's presidential ticket in the United States.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized.
The 55-year-old Senator Harris is a former prosecutor and state attorney general in California. Mr. Biden on Twitter called her a fearless fighter for the little guy and one of the country's finest public servants. At least 3 people have died in the southern Indian city of Bengaluru after protesters clashed with police over a provocative social media post about the Prophet Muhammad. The Facebook post, offensive to Muslims, sparked protests in India on Tuesday night, while a police station and a politician's house were attacked in Bengaluru. Bengaluru City Police said officers fired live ammunition to disperse the crowd, causing the death of 3 people. They also added 110 people had been arrested for alleged vandalism and attacking the police. Protests have continued for a 3rd night in a row in the Belarusian capital Minsk, following the incumbent leader Alexander Lukashenko's claim of victory in Sunday's presidential election. After Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, the main challenger to the long-time president, said she had fled the country, security forces fired rubber bullets and stun grenades to disperse thousands of protesters in the capital. The protesters accused Mr. Lukashenko of fixing the outcome of Sunday's election. 6,000 people were arrested, that's according to the Interior Ministry. Witnesses reported seeing security forces detaining dozens of people and beating protesters in the streets as the European Union threatened to reimpose sanctions over suspected vote rigging and the violent crackdown. The Hong Kong pro-democracy figure and media tycoon Jimmy Lai has received a hero's welcome as he was released on bail and returned to his newspaper after being arrested on allegations of foreign collusion. Mr. Lai, his sons, senior executives from his next digital media company, and other pro-democracy activists were detained under Beijing's national security law on Monday, while Chinese state media labelled him a genuine traitor. Hundreds of police officers also raided the offices and newsroom of Apple Daily, the popular tabloid Lai founded, in a move decried as an assault on press freedom. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has delayed the dissolution of Parliament after the discovery of locally transmitted coronavirus cases, forcing the country back into lockdown.
As of 12 noon tomorrow.
The dissolution of the Parliament is a key step towards the upcoming general election in the country, which is now likely to be delayed as well. The poll is still scheduled for September the 16th. The outbreak in Auckland prompted authorities to reimpose tight restrictions on movement in New Zealand's biggest city and limit travel across the entire country. Mauritian authorities are rushing to finish pumping out the remaining oil from the ship that has caused a huge oil spill off the coast of Mauritius before it breaks up. Volunteers have intensified their efforts to clean up the toxic oil spill, which has been polluting the waters around Mauritius since last week. Locals have started to fish dead eels from the oily waters, while crabs and seabirds are also reportedly dying around the island. The local police chief told the media that cracks in the ship keep increasing and it may collapse at any moment. Namibia's president has said the offer for reparations made by Germany for mass killings in its then colony was not acceptable. German troops killed tens of thousands of Herero and Nama people between 1904 and 1908 in response to an anti-colonial uprising. It is thought that 75% of the Herero population and half of the Nama population died. No details of the offer rejected by the Namibian government were given in the president's statement. In Brazil, President Jair Bolsonaro has declared fires in the Amazon rainforest have gone down. That's despite data showing that thousands of fires are currently ongoing across the region. Data produced by President Bolsonaro's own government show that more than 10,000 fires have been recorded in the first 10 days of August, up 17% from the same period a year ago. Experts say that fires are not a natural phenomenon in the rainforest, but are usually man-made in order to clear forest land for pasture. And finally, Tokyo entertainment company First Airlines has responded to the stop to international travel due to coronavirus restrictions in a singular way with virtual reality. Since COVID-19 has stopped most travel from Japan, the virtual reality travel market is increasingly growing among Japanese holidaymakers. Grounded travellers sit in first-class seats in a mock jetliner cabin where they are served in-flight meals and drinks, while virtual reality goggles provide further immersive tours at destinations including Italy's cities of culture, Paris, New York and Hawaii. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel studios in Lagos.